What's the first thing you do when you wake up? Check your phone, right? Cameron from LA does the same thing, except he's checking how many likes his perfect morning routine post got while he's actually lying in bed at 2 p.m., hasn't showered in 3 days, and can barely get up to eat. I did the same thing in 1985, checking magazine sales while my real life was falling apart. But here's the question that changed everything for both of us. What would happen if everyone could see the photo Cameron took right before his perfect Instagram shot? And what would happen if you saw what I looked like 5 minutes after that magazine cover was taken? Both reveals would shock you. See, we think social media created this problem of fake happiness, of performing perfect lives for strangers. But what I learned from Cameron's story is that this ain't new. The platforms changed, the cameras got smaller, but the pressure to look successful while you're struggling, that's been around longer than Instagram, longer than magazines, longer than cameras themselves. Let me take y'all back to 1985. I'm starting to get some recognition as a comedian, getting invited to photo shoots for Black entertainment magazines. This was big for me. Seeing my face in jet ebony right on magazines. This was validation, proof that I was making it. I remember my first major magazine shoot. Photographer's studio in Chicago, professional lights, makeup artist, wardrobe stylist. They're telling me, Steve, you're gonna be on the cover. This is gonna change everything for you. For 3 hours, I'm posing, smiling, looking confident. Lean against this wall, Steve. Now laugh like you just heard the funniest joke. Now look serious but approachable. Now look successful but humble. I'm thinking, this is it. This is what success looks like. The magazine comes out 2 weeks later. There I am on the cover. Sharp suit, perfect smile, looking like I got the world figured out. The headline reads, Steve Harvey, comedy's rising star, lives his best life. But here's what nobody knew about that photo shoot. The night before, I'd been evicted from my apartment. I spent the night before that cover shoot sleeping in my car in a Denny's parking lot. The morning of the shoot, I used the gas station bathroom to clean up, put on my best shirt, my only good shirt, and showed up pretending everything was perfect. After they finished shooting, I went right back to that car. But now I had this magazine coming out telling the world I was living my best life while I was literally homeless. Every month, I'd check the newsstands to see how that magazine was selling. I'd count how many copies were left, trying to calculate how many people saw my successful image. The better the magazine sold, the more depressed I got because more people were seeing this lie about my life. I started checking magazine sales the way people check social media likes today. Obsessively, desperately, tying my self-worth to how many strangers were buying into the fantasy of my perfect life. Now fast forward to last month. I'm in Los Angeles doing a speaking event about authenticity, and this young man approaches me after my talk. Well-dressed, good-looking, confident handshake, but something in his eyes looked familiar. That same emptiness I used to see in my own reflection. Mr. Harvey, he says, I need to ask you something about being fake because I think I'm drowning in my own lies. His name is Cameron Mitchell. He's 28 years old, lives in Beverly Hills, drives a Tesla, and has 2.3 million followers on Instagram. His account is called @CameronLivingFree, and it's all about motivation, morning routines, gratitude, and living your best life. Mr. Harvey, Cameron tells me, I post about morning workouts at 6 a.m., but I don't wake up until 2 in the afternoon. I post about healthy smoothie recipes while eating Taco Bell in my car. I post about gratitude and positive thinking while I'm having panic attacks in my bathroom. Cameron shows me his Instagram. It's beautiful. Perfect apartment shots, motivational quotes over sunset photos, videos of him talking about crushing goals and living with purpose. Every post gets tens of thousands of likes, hundreds of comments from people saying he's inspiring their lives. But here's the truth, Cameron says. I haven't felt genuinely happy in 2 years. I spend 4 hours a day staging content, 2 hours responding to comments, and the rest of the day feeling like a fraud. Cameron tells me his daily routine. He wakes up around 2 p.m. and immediately checks his phone. How many likes on yesterday's post? How many new followers? How many comments? If the numbers are good, he feels okay for maybe 20 minutes. If they're bad, his whole day is ruined. I'll spend 6 hours setting up one spontaneous breakfast photo, he says. I'll take 200 shots to get one perfect image of me looking naturally happy. Then I'll write some inspirational caption about living in the moment while I'm literally having an anxiety attack. The worst part? Cameron's making good money from sponsorships and partnerships. Brands pay him to promote products because his followers believe he's living this amazing life, but the more successful his fake life becomes, the more depressed his real life gets. Last week, Cameron tells me, I posted a video about how grateful I am for my amazing life. It got 50,000 likes. But right after I posted it, I sat in my car and cried for an hour because I felt so empty inside. Cameron shows me something that breaks my heart. In his phone's camera roll, for every perfect Instagram photo, there are 10 to 15 photos he took right before and right after. Photos where you can see his real expression. Tired, sad, desperate, fake smile dropping the second he thinks the camera stopped rolling. Mr. Harvey, he says, I'm addicted to the validation, but the validation is based on a lie. And the more people believe the lie, the more trapped I feel in it. Now let me tell you what I told Cameron, because this is the lesson that took me decades to understand. See, what both Cameron and I figured out is that the problem isn't the magazine or the Instagram. It's the belief that we need other people's approval to validate our worth. When I was checking magazine sales in 1985, I wasn't really checking sales. I was checking whether strangers thought I was worthy of their attention. When Cameron's checking likes on his posts, he's not really checking engagement. He's checking whether strangers think he deserves their approval. But here's what we both learned the hard way. When you base your self-worth on other people's opinions, you're putting your happiness in the hands of people who don't even know you exist. That magazine cover in 1985 wasn't showing the world who I was. It was showing them who I thought they wanted me to be. Cameron's Instagram isn't showing his followers his real life. It's showing them what he thinks will get the most likes. The depression doesn't come from the platform. The depression comes from the distance between who you really are and who you're pretending to be. The bigger that gap gets, the more miserable you become. Y'all want to know what happened after I realized I was living a lie for magazine approval? I made a decision that scared me to death. The next interview I did with Essence magazine in 1986, I told them the truth. I told them about sleeping in my car, about being evicted, about the struggle behind the success. The interviewer looked at me like I was crazy. Steve, people don't want to hear about your problems. They want inspiration, success stories. But I insisted. I can't inspire anybody with lies. If my story helps one person feel less alone in their struggle, then it's worth it. That interview almost didn't get published. The editor called me 3 times asking if I was sure I wanted to damage my image by being so honest about my failures. But when it came out, something amazing happened. Instead of losing fans, I gained them. Instead of people thinking less of me, they connected with me deeper than ever before. Because for the first time, they were seeing me, not the character I was playing. And Cameron, 3 weeks after our conversation, he made a decision that shocked his followers. He posted a video called The Truth Behind at Cameron Living Free. In that video, he showed his apartment as it really was. Messy, dishes in the sink, laundry everywhere. He talked about his depression, his anxiety, his struggle with comparing his life to other people's highlight reels. I've been lying to you, he said. And more importantly, I've been lying to myself. That video got 2 million views in 24 hours. But more importantly, Cameron got thousands of messages from people thanking him for being real, for showing them they weren't alone in their struggles. Cameron didn't lose followers. He gained 500,000 new ones. But this time, they were following the real him, not the performance. 6 months later, Cameron's doing better than ever. His content is still motivational, but it's honest. He talks about bad days, about struggles, about the messy reality of trying to improve your life. His engagement rates are higher than ever. His mental health is better than it's been in years, and he's making more money from sponsorships because brands want to work with someone authentic. So here's your homework, and this is for everyone who's ever posted something that wasn't quite true, or checked likes obsessively, or felt depressed after scrolling through other people's perfect lives. First, ask yourself this question before you post anything. Am I sharing this because it's true or because I want people to think it's true? If it's the second one, don't post it. Second, for every highlight you share, share a behind-the-scenes moment too. Show the messy kitchen behind the perfect breakfast. Show the failed attempts behind the success. Show the real human behind the curated image. Third, stop checking your engagement like a drug addict checking for their next fix. Set specific times to check social media and stick to them. Your worth is not measured in likes, comments, or followers. Fourth, unfollow accounts that make you feel bad about your life. If seeing someone's post makes you feel inadequate, that's not inspiration, that's comparison poison. Fifth, Remember that everyone else is performing too. That perfect life you're jealous of, it's probably as curated and fake as the content you're posting. Nobody's life is as perfect as their social media makes it look. If you're struggling with social media depression right now, if you're trapped in the cycle of performing happiness while feeling miserable, remember this. The people who love you don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be real. Cameron learned what I learned 30 years ago. Authenticity might get you fewer likes, but it gets you better relationships. Being real might get you less engagement, but it gets you more peace. Your value is not determined by your metrics. Your worth is not measured by your reach. Your happiness should not depend on the approval of strangers who will never know your heart. So stop performing your life and start living it. Stop curating happiness and start creating it. Stop checking for validation and start validating yourself, because the most beautiful thing you can share with the world isn't a perfect image, it's a real moment. And the most inspiring thing you can be isn't flawless, it's honest. Your real life, with all its struggles and messiness and imperfection, is infinitely more valuable than any fake perfect life you could perform. Stop checking your phone for your worth. Check your heart instead. That's where your real value lives, and it doesn't need anybody's approval but your own. Y'all remember that. Your authentic self is your attractive self. And the right people will love you for who you are, not who you pretend to be.